interview walking a question and perspective. And the question is, I quote, "Now I want to sort out my past problems. I cursed Bodhisattva before, and I felt that I should go to hell and that I am the devil. How do I sort out these evil thoughts? I used to have thoughts of rivers of blood. These are all my hallucinations. How do I, or what should I do to stop them from influencing me? For one moment my thoughts are about here and now, yet for another moment they will jump into the past space and time. I am very unstable. Occasionally I also have hallucinations. How do I, or what should I do to stabilize myself?" Unquote. Alright, so let's have a look at the first point regarding the jumping of thoughts in space and time that we had walked within a previous interview that will be linked to this interview's description. So in the description, just have a look at the previous interview we did, where we walked the detail in terms of why and how it is that one's conscious mind will jump time frames so suddenly and unexpectedly. And then with regards to the cursing of Bodhisattva and creating that guilt where one believes that one has to go to hell and that one is the devil for cursing a being of light, and understand that is simply the polarity manifestation with regards to the existence of good and evil that is perpetuated within society today. So that if human beings have evil or bad cursing thoughts to or towards anything or anyone that is apparently good or positive or of light, that the ones having the bad, evil thoughts are the ones that are bad and evil and wrong and must go to hell, when actually both the good and bad are equally as evil from the perspective of evil as our existence within ourselves as the mind consciousness system. Now, I strongly suggest having a read through the Heaven's Journey to Life blogs, where the detail of our relationship as energy to substance, to physicality is walked, to understand the real existence of evil in terms of how energy as the mind really in fact only exists through actually consuming and breaking down the human physical body. I mean, we're seeing it within our external existence in the very mind consciousness, in the very world system of money's relationship to the physical existence, where the world system of money is equal to and one with our mind consciousness system of energy. What is within is without, meaning where if we have a look at what this world system of money is doing to this physical existence, it is really actually consuming this physical existence, consuming humans' lives, consuming animals, nature, earth, destroying it, annihilating it for money to exist. The mind does the same to the physical body. Over and throughout the years that we are existing within and as our human physical bodies. Thus, all of humanity are equally as one evil if we continue accepting and allowing ourselves to exist as energy in our relationship to our human physical body. If we accept and allow this world system of money to continue existing in its relationship to this physical existence, when the very consequences of the world system's relationship to this physical existence is clearly physically seen, as the external mirror of what is internally manifesting within us. The only reason why human beings, as the mind, cannot see what is really going on at the root of your mind in the physical body is because everyone is stuck where? Way up in the conscious mind, only existing as a being that simply has to move their attention into conscious mind thoughts to power the conscious mind thoughts, and through that the subconscious mind and the unconscious mind, and there the whole mind consciousness system exists for the being. So I mean, whether you have good thoughts or whether you have bad thoughts, thoughts are energy. You are participating in the entire mind consciousness system. So within process, I mean, the process human beings have to walk, whether you're good, bad, or of light or of dark or God or the devil, you're going to have to walk your self-forgiveness process equally as one to how everything and everyone else is walking, because you are consisting of and existing as energy itself. Now, that process where I just mentioned in terms of the point of why it is that we're not even aware of our mind's relationship to the physical is done in the previous interview that I also mentioned in the beginning of this interview, that will be linked into the description. So understand that, I mean, even having a physical creation as the world system's relationship to this physical existence, the external mirror of ourselves, we're still not seeing, realizing, understanding that the external existence is a mirror of our internal existence, and what that really in fact means in how our mind really break down, consume, destroy, and annihilate our human physical bodies throughout the years. So understand that what is quite fascinating is to have a look at this point, that if you have evil thoughts, that does not necessarily make who you are evil within your very beingness. If you're having good, positive, light, love thoughts, it doesn't necessarily mean that who you are as a being, in fact, is good, light, love, beauty, and all those things. Why? Because if you really have a look at the nature of thoughts, the nature of internal conversations, the nature of experiences, they are consisting of and existing as energy and knowledge and information. So let's say, for example, you're having thoughts that you have defined as being evil. If you have a look at how thoughts come up in your mind, they're like these individual things that manifest and cycle and circle in your mind. I mean, people doing the positive affirmations, positive thinking, like love experience things, do the same stuff in terms of bringing up mantras and statements and thoughts and visualizations and all those things. They're just evolved forms of thought. And all such thoughts consist of knowledge and information as definition, meaning where if those thoughts that are coming up, for example, are evil, it is the thought manifestation in your conscious mind that is what is evil. The being thinking good things, it is the thoughts that's coming up in their conscious mind that is defined with the knowledge and information as good. But, I mean, if these thoughts coming up as these individual manifestations that we're claiming to be good and evil, that is apparently making who we are good or bad, or light and dark, or God and evil, or whatever it is, aren't we then saying that all that we in fact really are within who we are is our thoughts, our conscious mind thoughts coming up in our minds? That we are these random things just coming up, these random pieces of points, of thoughts, of information, of knowledge, of experience. I mean, so what does that say really then about the apparent greatness and magnificence and evolution of the human being within the human race? if these random individualized thought manifestations of positive and negative or good or bad or light and evil is what is currently defining who we are within ourselves. So what you must understand within your process with regards to thoughts that are evil, or thoughts that are good, or statements that are good or bad, or internal conversations as these mantras that's being spoken of positivity or negativity, is that if you accept and allow yourself, for example, to have these thought manifestations in your conscious mind that are within the thought manifestation itself only evil, if you let that one thought manifestation determine the entirety and totality of who you are within your beingness and your living within this world, I mean, you're saying that one singular thought manifestation has got existential power over who you are as a being within yourself. And I mean, this is where most human beings on this earth kind of go downhill, if you will, is that they're accepting and allowing themselves to take these little thoughts in their conscious mind that comes up as evil or bad or good or right or wrong, and think that the thoughts that are coming up is saying to them who they are in totality. Your mind cannot really, in fact, say to you who you really are, meaning whatever is coming up in your mind is coming up within pre-programming that you have imprinted into your unconscious and physical body that's constructed into personalities and patterns. And I mean, God knows what the hell the mind has concocted within the unconscious and subconscious throughout your life. I mean, these evil thoughts or good thoughts are not just coming out of nowhere. They're coming from a massive process throughout your life. I mean, thoughts take a very long process to manifest within you. I mean, if you have a look at how little you really participated into constant, continuous automatic thinking when you were a child, there was almost nothing. But to the ages when you were 7, 11, maybe 14, ooh, there they started. So, I mean, it took years to manifest within you, imprint within you. Therefore, I mean, if you cannot even say where that thought coming within you that is either good or bad really, in fact, come from within yourself, within how your mind structured or manifested or created or programmed it, how can you accept and allow yourself to define the totality of who you are with these one singular thought manifestations coming up in your mind? So the first step with regards to evil or bad or even good or right thoughts is to not take them personally. What not taking them personally means is that take a breath and make the statement of, I will not accept and allow my conscious mind's thoughts to determine or to define who I am. In this moment, I breathe, I walk my process of writing, of self-forgiveness, of self-corrective application, so that I can get to know how my mind created these thoughts coming up within my conscious mind, so that in that, I can start getting to know and direct myself within who I decide to be, and that decision I make to stand within life of equality and oneness, because in that one point of life of equality and oneness, I know that decision I live eternally. Then I know who I am as life, as equality and oneness, and will not accept and allow anything less than that. I mean, if you walk that statement in your writing, your self-forgiveness, your self-corrective application, I mean, is any fucking thought going to say to you who or what you are? No, because you've made the decision. You now just need to walk the process of really, in fact, becoming it, which is the breathing application, not giving your conscious mind thoughts the attention. Walk your process, writing, self-forgiveness, self-corrective application. I mean, we've also got the Desteni process and the forums available, moderators, We'll also provide a link here within the description so that if you have any questions, we can assist and support within your processes of writing, of self-forgiveness and self-corrective application. But the major point here is to realize you cannot accept and allow your conscious mind thoughts of God knows where the fuck they come from to determine or define who you are. I mean, that's enslaving you to these little thought manifestations in your mind, and you know how long those little things can keep you preoccupied in your head. I mean, what is it that you're really missing then in this world and in this existence? You're missing yourself, you're missing living, you're missing participation, you're missing getting to know yourself, and you're missing to really discover life that is right here in every single breath. So within that as well, then not taking it personally means not to judge your thoughts, not to be afraid of your thoughts, not to, it's like you've got to get into that point where it's like you realize that your thoughts can only define you or determine you if you accept and allow it. Meaning, if you're existing in that relationship with your mind where you kind of say to it, okay, you tell me who I am. But I mean, you can't even remember how you created your mind in the first place. So it's like really walking up to an arbitrary stranger and telling him or her to tell you who you are in absolute detail. Tell me who I am. And whatever is being spewed out of that person's mouth, you're absolutely believing and falling for. It's exactly the same principle as how your mind is. It's like your mind is this arbitrary person just speaking and spewing stuff, and you're just believing everything blindly. So you have to stand within your decision of life, of equality and oneness, because what if you are in that decision, if you are proving to yourself that you're really living them, and some arbitrary stranger comes and tells you who you are, what will you stand with it? What is your statement? No, this is who I am. I mean, that's something powerful to, you know, make the walking of this process an absolute commitment for self. So if you really have that relationship to your mind in judgment and fear, walk self-forgiveness. Align your initial relationship with your mind in forgiving yourself for judging your mind, forgiving yourself for fearing your mind, for becoming anxious with it, when all it really is parts of yourself that you've separated yourself from, that you have to get to know. And the only way you're going to get to know it is writing self-forgiveness, self-corrective application, and see what's really going on in your mind. But you cannot approach your mind in fear or anxiety or judgment or blame or things like that, because that's going to be separation. I mean, that's like, for example, that stranger again. To really get to know, but where is this person speaking from? You know, where is he coming up with, or he or she coming up with all these things about who I am? If you continue blaming that person, or yelling, or screaming, or fearing, or running away, or trying to nudge that person into the ground or something, or hide it, you're not going to find out where everything is coming from, where that person is speaking from. So you need to approach it, stand in front of it, hear it, see it, let it flow, write it out, speak it out within one's own personal process to be able to realign one's mind into the decision for life of equality and oneness. Now with the point of hallucinations, that happens within one's mind when one had for an extended period of time really internalized oneself into one's mind and thoughts and internal conversations. I mean, we're always existing in our minds, in our thoughts. It's just sometimes that some human beings' minds become more accentuated, meaning where you will hallucinate and see things and hear things or feel things that aren't there. I mean, essentially, really, your thoughts aren't really here. I mean, do you physically see them in this real, actual, physical existence? No. So one can say essentially that hallucinations are simply accentuated thoughts of energy. Mainly, again, hallucinations are also utilized by the mind to simply evoke energy, meaning reactions. To have you go into hallucinations, I mean, it's the same as the mind would simply bring up thoughts, which is, when really looking in physical reality, is also mini forms of hallucinations, but hallucinations that you really like, that bring up all sorts of energy experiences within you. So again, if having hallucinations simply by participating in physical reality, I mean, hallucinations on drugs is obviously a whole other story. The hallucination that I'm speaking of here is simply when you're moving in your reality and you're just seeing things. You'll find that the hallucinations will come up when you have participated in your mind for an extended period of time, meaning when you've gone into an anxiety or a fear and you've allowed yourself to participate in your conscious mind thoughts for a long time, and then your mind started talking, your internal conversations, and then all sorts of things your mind will bring up inside you. Because you are giving it more energy, it's got more energy, and then it's going to bring up all these stuff, because the more the mind can bring up, the more energy you can give it. And so everything just accumulates and accumulates and accumulates because you're not stopping your participation in it. It's not coming up for any other reason but you keeping on feeding the mind its energy, as we discussed in the previous interview, with going into the conscious mind. In just giving the thoughts attention, the mind will take you deeper into itself, because the more energy you're giving it, the deeper it can take you into the subconscious and unconscious and bring up more and more stuff with all the energy participation. And the more you go deeper into the mind, flowing down the rabbit hole into the abyss of the mind, I mean, you're going nowhere yet everywhere. So really understand the absolute importance of breath. Physical, stay with what's real. Focus on your writing, your self-forgiveness, your self-corrective application, because you don't know how you created your mind yet. You fucking don't know where that mind can take you inside yourself. And it's not a point of fear, it's just a point of caution, meaning that we have been so taken away from actual physical reality within existence as a whole, that, I mean, it's very easy in terms of making energy the authority over and of our physical body and our physical participation. So rather stick to what you can physically see, physically participate in here, and rather walk through your mind in stability and directive principle through writing and self-forgiveness, where you are the one directing yourself with your mind, then your mind taking you into it with energy. So within that, thus, hallucinations, you've got to practice then stopping your participation in your mind a lot faster, meaning do not follow energy. It isn't the story in the Matrix. Don't follow the white rabbit energy, whiteness down the rabbit hole, the mind, the abyss, the darkness within self. Don't follow the white rabbit. Obviously in the Matrix they say follow the white rabbit. We're saying don't. It's going to take you into the abyss of the mind. Now, we will get into interviews later on about the actual reality of the Matrix, but the symbolism within that context, the white rabbit is energy. Whole is your mind. You don't know where you're going to walk yourself into. Rather, know what you're walking when you're walking in. Writing, self-forgiveness, self-corrective application. So the hallucinations, that's all that requires practice. And if the hallucinations does come up and there's reactions to the hallucinations, meaning energy, whatever energy you're experiencing toward those hallucinations is the energy thus that you've been participating in over an extended period of time, that you've been feeding in your mind, where your mind then got so much energy that it could produce for you an hallucination that you can really go into more energy and give it what? More energy. So Then forgive the reactions, the emotions, the feelings that you're experiencing toward the hallucination. Walk it out in yourself-forgiveness. Then have a look at how and where and why is it that you've been existing in this energy reaction that you've had toward the hallucination for an extended period of time. Where did you not stop the energy reaction? Why did you accept and allow yourself to feed the mind instead of living within and as and with the human physical body? Alright, so that's that with hallucinations in physical reality. And if one requires assistance and support with hallucinations, if this practical points that we had discussed is not assisting and supporting, place a response in terms of within the forums. We'll give the link, as we've said, in this description, so that we can then have a look at more specific assistance and support. The assistance and support is available here. It's all here. Desteni Forums, Desteni iProcess, there's EQUAF, life investment interviews. I mean, there is not such product within this existence where it's something that you'll be able to take with you literally for the rest of your life and will have a meaning to you in your life, wherein if you take, for example, those interviews, it is something that will assist and support a change within you, and with you in fact changing you, it is something that will always be here with self. Alright, so that's that for this interview. Thank you very much.